canción para mi gente. Con una pasión.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I want to discuss my trip to Machu Picchu, and I think it's called Lake Humantay. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but if you are someone that is coming to Peru and you are interested in going to these two locations, I do want to kind of give a rundown of everything you need to know before going to these locations, especially Machu Picchu. Because if you're like me and you didn't plan ahead, you didn't buy a ticket into Machu Picchu, looking online, it can be practically impossible if you did not get tickets ahead of time. So I want to share with you guys my experience, how I got tickets, and which circuit is the best to take so you get the best views, you get that postcard, that Instagram chef's kiss photo. So yeah, I want to go over everything with you guys. So first off, to give you some background on this story, when I got to Peru, I did have an idea that I wanted to go to Machu Picchu for sure, along with trying some of the local cuisine here. But I did not know that you had to get tickets sometimes months in advance.
Are you serious?
So, not knowing this, I decided maybe about a week before I was going to go to start looking into getting tickets. And I went through the same tour guide I went through to go to Hakachina, and I didn't read the fine print, but their package only included getting a tour and getting the train there, and that's it. It didn't include entry.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
To figure out entry. So I ended up canceling that with them. And, I was like, I'll figure it out once I get there. I'll try to find a tour guide or something like that. So the first thing that you need to do is, once you are here in Peru, you do have to come to Lima first, which is, I believe, the major hub here. And then you have to get a flight down to Cusco. The flight to Cusco is only about an hour and 10 minutes. So it's very quick. Nothing too bad that you can't endure. Once you get to Cusco, I'm going to put up here kind of a little overview of my Airbnb that I had. Also, I'll leave the link in the description as well. So basically, I ended up getting this Airbnb. It probably cost me somewhere around like $22 a night, super cheap. It wasn't super close to Plaza Mayor, which is the main area where everything is, all the vendors and little shows and stuff they do at night. But there was some little local restaurants that were close, that were walking distance. This was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Like I said, more than enough for me by myself, but I just booked it because it was one of the cheaper ones that I found, and I figured I didn't need nothing crazy, because I was only going to be there for a couple of nights, or 3 nights total. So I went to this tour agency, which my Airbnb host recommended. And I will say this, that for Machu Picchu, I do think that I paid a lot for everything, but it was very last minute. So the day that I arrived, I basically went straight to Plaza de Armas, or Plaza Mayor, and went to start looking for tours, and found out my Airbnb host had someone she recommended, so I went to that one. But if you were to plan all of this ahead of time, because I did talk to a girl that stayed here, she said that they've maybe paid about $60 or $70 for the train ride from down to Aguascalientes, and I think I paid somewhere around like $92 or $100 each way for just the train. So definitely, I do recommend trying to do your research in advance. But if you are coming last minute and you want to go like I did, this is probably going to be your best option. So with this tour guide, they pretty much set up everything for me. There was a bus from Cusco to the train station, from the train station to Aguas Calientes, the bus up to Machu Picchu, then also the entrance into Machu Picchu as well. And then also I had transportation back as well. This was all through a company called Peru Rail, but there is another company as well. Like I said, if I had to do all this over again, I most definitely would have planned it out a little bit better. That way it would have been a little bit cheaper. Also, there was another train that was a little bit more luxury that I would have preferred to ride in versus just the basic train. But like I said, basically the day I arrived, I told the tour guide that I wanted to go the next day and that I only had, a couple of nights or a couple of days in Cusco. So, and I had 2 tours that I wanted to do, which was Machu Picchu and the lake. So they set everything up. I want to say total, I probably spent around $450. Like I said, I think if you were to book all this stuff ahead of time, you can definitely get it cheaper. But for last minute, I just figured, whatever, I'll pay it because I needed to go basically that next day. So once you get this bus, I can't remember how long it was. It was maybe an hour or hour and a half or something like that to where the train station is, and then you take the train for an hour and a half or a little bit longer than that to Aguas Calientes, and then at Aguas Calientes you have to get a bus to go up to Machu Picchu. Now, I do recommend, a lot of people were getting altitude sickness. I would say for me, I do train every day. I do a lot of cardio. Even though I do train, I did experience a little bit of shortness of breath, but it wasn't nothing too bad. And this was for both, for Machu or in Cusco, and then also in for the lake as well. So, but it's recommended that you go to Cusco or go to Aguas Calientes, stay there for a day or a night, and then basically get acclimated to the altitude, and then from there go to do your tour because it is at such a high altitude. So you got to get this bus up. All right, so now we're in a line to get the bus to Machu Picchu, and this line here, they will check your tickets for entry and also for the bus as well. You do need to have a passport with you, so you want to make sure you have that. There's this long line of people that are waiting for buses, and buses literally are just going in circles of taking people up and bringing people back down. And once you get to the top, I had a guide that was included. So the guide essentially greeted me once I got off the plane and brought me to my group, which was, I would say, really, really helpful because, once you get there, you don't know where to go, who to talk to. So that was really, really convenient to have the guide there already just, looking for me once I got off the train, and then to take me over to where the group was. So once you get to the top, you're going to enter in. Ideally, if you can, you want to book circuit number 2A. 2A, there's 2A and 2B. Both are pretty much similar. It's just 2B is like it's a little bit lower than 2A, but 2A is one more up, so you get the better view. You'll get this view here, and I'm gonna put this up on the screen so you can see it. Unfortunately, my tour was in Spanish, so I didn't understand everything. You do want to make sure you specify that you need a English guide, but nevertheless, it still really didn't take away from the experience. I do wish it was in English, so this way I would have been able to understand more about Machu Picchu and the Incas versus having to actually look all this stuff up on myself and watch videos after. But nevertheless, like I said, it was still amazing. And so The tour itself, I want to say it's maybe about 2.5 hours, something like that. They give you a lot of opportunities to be able to take photos and explain different stuff about Machu Picchu and the areas surrounding it. There's a lot of people who do tours of hiking up and camping out before they come to Machu Picchu. After you're done, for me, I had enough time to basically grab lunch, charge my phone, and then catch my train back at 3, which you have to get the bus back down. Then you take your train back to the other bus station, and then from the bus station back to Cusco. So going into day 2, basically for that first day, I had to get up around 2 a.m. to get to the first train station, to then get to the bus station, for then that bus to take me to the train station, and then for that train to then take me to Machu Picchu. But for the next day, basically I got in late, and then the next day I got ready to go to the lake, which, to be honest with you, this one is it's extremely hard because it's at such a high altitude. The views are actually worth it. They're very amazing, but very, very hard. So the first thing I want to say is that make sure you bring hiking gear. I didn't. I brought, I went in Converse. Everybody else had walking sticks and they had hiking shoes or hiking boots. And I'm basically here in Converse. So I didn't get the memo that you need like proper hiking gear. So definitely bring hiking gear. Don't bring any shoes that you actually care about, because there are basically horses that you have an opportunity. They tell everybody, hey, you can pay to ride a horse up to the top, and then you walk back down. But there is horse shit along the entire trail. So I would say definitely don't carry any shoes that you really care about, or no nice shoes. The altitude is very, very high. I know I had issues. A lot of people were tapping out and basically, getting a horse, because even though they offer you the horses at the bottom, you do have another opportunity if you decide, hey, no, I'm going to thug it out and I'm going to walk up trek the mountain. And for some reason you just can't do it. They have the guys walking up with the horses later that you can, end up paying and getting onto a horse after. I absolutely do recommend that you make sure you have soles or cash before you go on your tours, because a lot of the places there don't accept card, but there are, in some cases they do. So this tour, like I said, it was very hard because the altitude was very high, and even though I'm in very good shape cardio wise, once I start getting like towards that midway point, I would say I would walk maybe 2 or 3 minutes, not even, sometimes even 30 seconds, and I would be out of breath, breathing hard, having to stop, catch my breath. You always see it in like movies or documentaries of high altitudes and the air being really thin and all that, but it doesn't hit quite the same until you experience it yourself. So definitely, you want to make sure that you take your time if you do decide to walk it. But like I said, there were a lot of people that were tapping out and just getting in a horse on the way up. Once you get to the top, there is a couple of main spots that everyone likes to take pictures. There is there's a lower one, which is right next to the lagoon or the lake. And then there's one up a little bit higher. You're going to want to go for the one that's up a little bit higher. That'll give you a much more kind of postcard, IG-worthy photo. And that was pretty much it. That's all I did while I was in Cusco. I did get some food there. Now, when you do these tours, and this is my third tour that I've done here through a company, a lot of them will say like, hey, sometimes they include a buffet or they include lunch or breakfast and lunch. But to be very honest with you, I didn't think that the the lunch that they included was really worth it, because for the first one I did for Hakachina, with this one it was just mainly like very cheap food. It was salad, it was pasta with no meat, it was rice, it was stuff that wouldn't really cost too much money. And I get it because the tours aren't very expensive. They're maybe like 25, $30, so they're really not that expensive. And for it to include lunch as well, I didn't expect anything 5-star or nothing crazy. But when they say they include lunch, I figured it would be something to at least fill you up. And then on the lake tour, the Machu Picchu one didn't include any lunch. I had to buy my own lunch, which was fine. But the lake tour did include breakfast and lunch. But for that, it was basically a lot of bread, like toast, and there was some eggs, but it wasn't really a lot to go around for everybody that was there. And the lunch portion of it was a little bit better. They did offer some ceviche. They had some chicken, rice, beans, and some other stuff. But to be honest with you, the main portion of it, which was the chicken, there wasn't a lot of it. That ran out very quick. And then the ceviche didn't really have much seafood in it. It was some white fish, and to be honest, it was like some type of potato or something, which I didn't get. Onions, obviously lime juice. I just mostly got the onions and the fish of what I could. So that is pretty much it for Machu Picchu. And if you guys are interested in coming, like I said, this is what I would recommend, is that you plan it out ahead of time. It would be much cheaper versus you doing it last minute. But I did want to kind of offer this advice because I know when I was looking up stuff online, when I found out that you had to get a ticket in advance, there wasn't really much information out there online as far as getting tickets. So if you don't have your ticket in advance, then definitely go to a tour guide once you get there, and they can basically arrange everything for you where you can still get a ticket and a good time slot. You just have to more than likely book it in a day in advance. I'm going to put in the description the website where you need to go to get your ticket for Machu Picchu, the entrance, not the trains and all that. I'm just going to put the website that you need to go to for booking your entry ticket into Machu Picchu. In case you are seeing this and want to go, you have the opportunity to book it in advance. I'm filming this in July, and when I looked about like a few days ago or last week, they didn't have any available days open until I want to say August or so. But like I said, I was still able to go. So I'm going to put that in the description. And yeah, that's it for this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.